candlestick, it was designed to see the universe within. It is not used to predict the chart that you're looking at. Once the money spot happens, the only thing left to do is to make sure, is the big boy gonna mess with me? I buy when there's sellers, not when there's buyers. Remember that. Now, candlestick trading is a very interesting topic for me, because this is the one topic whenever I come online, the way candlestick has been taught in the past is very linear. You know, it's A plus B is equal to C. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a candle for you guys. A typical candle. Okay, what does this mean to you? Okay, let's say the color is red. Equilibrium, no decision, indecision, equal pressure on both sides. Okay, lots of analysis around this thing. If I do this, and then I do this, and I say this is red, okay, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Now, this time, all the education is the same for everybody. Everyone is saying reversal, or they're calling it hammer, or they're calling selling pressure. Now, do you guys know how the Japanese candlestick started? Do you guys know the story of it? It's a Japanese rice seller, right? This is a long, long time ago. Did they have 1-minute charts at that time? Did they have a 10-second chart or a tick chart? Did they even have an electronic screen to see a chart? No, right? So when you think of it that way, if there was nothing there and they have no charts, a candlestick, when it was designed to see the universe within. If this is the open, for example, let's say this is a green candle, right? I'm going to put a G in there. So that's green. Okay, so there's the open price. Here's the close price. Okay, here's the highest price and here's the lowest price. Okay, when we see a candlestick like this, the rice trader built this to see the universe within in a larger time frame to see what's going on inside of it. Okay, so if I was to draw it in a line, the price went from here, probably went down to here, went up to their maximum, and then it closed like that. Now, is that, when you look at that in terms of a line, is that an uptrend or a downtrend or what's going on? It's an uptrend. It's as simple as that. Because if I was to draw this for you with a bunch of candles, like a whole bunch of candles, coming down, whole bunch of candles going up, and then a whole bunch of candles coming down, you would definitely say that's an uptrend. It is used to see the universe within. It is not used to predict the chart that you're looking at. This is the misconception every public trader out there has, every retail trader. They do not see the universe within it. They just look at it for what it is, and they start making patterns, and they start making all these words out of it. Engulfing, bearish, this and that, and all sorts of stuff, right? Now, when we see railroad tracks, okay, railroad tracks are basically, here is going to be a, let's say that's a green candle. I want to label that green. And then immediately after is a red bar, okay? And the price is going up like that to there, and then going down from there. Now, these railroad tracks that show up like this, remember the concept of the universe within. The universe within also goes with the universe above, which also means the time frame above. Okay, when you look at a chart, your eyes should be able to look both below and above. Okay, below means the lower time frames, above means the higher time frames. So this movement here, if I was to draw it in one single candle and I say this is the opening price, this is the closing price, this is the highest point, and this is the lowest point, how would that look? Opening, closing, let's say in that same price, highest point, and there is no lowest point. Now, do you understand when people say an exhaustion candle is a reversal? Now, do you understand what a reversal actually is? Instead of just taking it for granted, now you know what it actually means, right? So I want you guys to think in reverse engineering concept, okay? We're going to break it down. You're going to tell me about the universe above and the universe below, and I'm going to test you guys.
Now, are you curious about the exact strategy Navin has been using to approach the markets? The Mastering Price Action course reveals all of that. In that course, you're going to understand the logic behind each price action movement. And from that, you will be able to take your trading to the next level by having a much more solid understanding of the markets. And because you're a subscriber, just click on the link in the description below to access our exclusive discount. Time to take your trading to the next level. All right, let's get back to the video.
All right, let's get going. So over here, uptrend. Now keep a close eye on this. This is a trick question that I asked you guys. Okay, I'm guilty, but I'm going to show you why. Okay, this uptrend, I'm going to go up to the daily chart. And if I draw a line across from here, straight like that, what is this movement that went up and came back down below? It's a probe. It's a sideways market. It's a fake out. So the high never happened. And in fact, the market's not even made a higher high. That's a fake higher high. Now, if you're seeing the universe above and below, you understand you're in a range market, right? Now, if I was to go to a weekly, what would that look like on a weekly? So it's basically there was no higher high. So if I go back to the daily or the 4 hours, think of it this way. As the 4 hour guys are looking at it on an uptrend, there are people who who are noticing this without switching to the daily time frame be like, I'm watching this very carefully, because as it comes back down, you're like, aha. Doesn't knowing this information also help you with entries like this area and this area? Doesn't all this open up if you just get that information in? Just a little bit of extra information like that, it opens up potential like crazy, doesn't it? Now the question is it not an uptrend still? And the answer is yes, it is. For these traders on this time frame, it is. The problem is when it blasts up like that, all the entries all around the world is going to activate in this area. All the buys will activate there because people enter late, right? Who buys here? No one buys when there's sellers coming in, right? No one buys that. People only buy after they see a spike up and they're like, oh my God, I want to buy it too. If it's going up, I want to know someone's making money and I want them to show me how to make money, so I'll buy it too. So then you'll always end up getting in late, right? I used to do this all the time. Let's go deeper into this candlestick stuff. All right, on euro yen. So moving forward from here, now look at this. They go up, they pull back, they go higher, and then they collapse here at some point. Now, the collapse, when the markets collapse like that, this can look like, oh, the markets are switching direction, right? So if I was to take only this part in the middle, how would that look if I was to draw that in one single candle? Imagine the universe above. How would that look? So opening price here, closing price up here. Okay, so I'm going to drag this across. Here's the opening so you guys can see it. There's the opening right there. Here's the closing right there. Here's the highest point right here. So that's going to be a wick. And then the rest is going to be, there was no lower price than this, right? So there's no tails on the bottom. When a candle like this comes in and it's green, what does that indicate to you? What trend is it? It's an uptrend still. Okay, so always remember that. Just because it has a large wick on top doesn't mean it's a reversal yet. That's why, you know, when you see exhaustion candles, they say the exhaustion needs to be the opposite color. This is why. Because this still looks like an uptrend on a lower time frame. Yeah, it's nearly exhausted. Do you guys understand that? Why an exhaustion candle has to look the opposite color? Like if you're in an uptrend, everything is green, the exhaustion candle better turn red. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, take a look at this area here, just that spot. How would we draw that? Opening, close, and also the highest point, lowest point. Was that green? Yeah, it's a solid up candle, right? Okay, yeah, I get it, but how do we know where to draw from, right? So the point of all these examples up until now is to make you guys look at the idea of what does this look like to the boys above me and what does this look like to the kids below me. Now, we're going to take this on. We're going to mark this area so we know where we are. Put a line right there. I'm going to take this on to the daily. Okay, now in the daily momentum, what's the direction of the market that you see? Uptrend. It's clear uptrend. Now, why is it an uptrend? It's creating higher highs, higher lows. This pattern is a pattern of an upward market. Okay, to these daily people, if I was to go onto this day and I'm looking at it right there on this chart, right there on that candle, let's say the day is at that day right there. Where do you think the daily guys are drawing their support resistance? Would you say they're drawing it right here? Yeah, at the last red candle, right? They're drawing their support resistance right there, right? Okay, now I'm going to drop it down. Okay, just take a quick glance at the 4 hours. Just take a quick look at it at that area. And now I'm going to bring it down to the 1 hour. Okay, just remember this screen. I'm going to bring it down to 1 hour. This may be a little bit advanced, but I'm going to try to see if you guys can keep a focus on it. How would you see if you were at this candle right here? Where would you draw your support resistance if you guys were a 1 hour trader? Okay, would you guys all agree that it would be like that, right? Now think to yourself, the 60-minute boys are drawing their support resistance like that. To these guys, this is a nice sell. To the big boys, the daily chart, this is in an uptrend. What is this battle called? This is where all the money's made. It's out there. It's the money spot. Now, if you're looking at this area, if you're looking at a few currency pairs, and you have to look at 15 minutes, the 1 hour, the 4 hours, the daily, the weekly, and then go to the next pair and do the same thing again and keep it all in your mind. How are you going to stay on top of the market? It's not possible. This is where candlesticks comes in handy. To look at the universe above and below. Now, what's the easiest way to look at the universe? How many candles? 1 candle or 50 candles? 1 candle. That is the right answer. Higher time frame. 1 candle. You get that 1 candle information in first. And then you go in deeper and then you extract the information and be like, okay, I know I have to buy. Let me figure out when. Okay, so now this one, so you see the seller's territory coming in, right? Here's the sellers coming in hot. And when they see this red bar, what do you think is going through their mind? Okay, a big red drop is happening. What do you think is going in their mind? They're like, oh my God, it's dropping. It's going to crap. I need to sell it. I need to get rid of my euros, or I need to sell euro yen so I can earn profit. Yeah, sell, 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 sell. Everyone's looking to sell as much as possible, right? Because they don't want to miss it. So the sell never activates here. Never, 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 never. The sell always activates here. In this zone is where all the chasing happens. right? Okay, now once everyone is getting in from that area because they're feeling confident, when this suddenly comes down here and then it jumps right back up and then it comes down a little bit more and then it comes right back up. Now, if I was to say to draw these kind of, let me do it even further. I'm going to take it down to the 15. Now we're going to look at this very carefully. The markets are coming down heavy. They pause for a split second. Okay, 2 bars, they pause. After that pause, I'm going to take that support where that pause happens and I'm going to drag it across. Would you say that low happened? Is that low ever happened? No. That's a faker, right? Now, what if I drag this area further down like that? Isn't that an interesting area for me? So when you see this area, it's like, okay, if I was to draw this area from the moment they rested, when they rested here, the rubber band man, and then he paused a little bit, he ran again, he got to this low, and then he rested how much? 150%, right? If I was to draw this in one candle, open, close, tail, and it's green. This is telling me your support line from the daily is now active. Your support line from the daily is now active, and all we're doing is give me a pullback and I'm going to buy this. But where's the pullback coming to? I also want that information. I'm not going to let go another 10 pips also. So I'm going to get that piece in as well. I've done so much research on this timing part. You know, when you guys ask me questions on timing, I was like, oh man, I'm going to blow your minds away when we come to the timings course, because we have so much to discuss on timing, and it's wonderful that how things come down to pinpoint accuracy. It almost looks like everything is staged. Okay. All right, so when it comes down to this area, prices begun to buy. But remember, if people are buying in this area here, look at the same thing happens. For those of you who are looking at this on a 15-minute chart, they're looking at this as, whoa, support equals resistance, sell, support equals resistance, sell. What's happening to my sell? Why is it not working? Because we know exactly what's happening in the market. You are aware of the universe above and below. Does that make sense? Once the money spot happens, the only thing left to do is to make sure, is the big boy going to mess with me? Okay, so I'm going to show you a trade of mine. I want you to walk me through of what do you think Navin did for this trade? Let's do this, okay? Okay, this is November 22nd. I was traveling at that time. Okay, so let's go into why. Okay, forget the money, forget okay, this trade's working, blah blah blah. Forget that. Let's go into the why, because that's the most important part. Okay, so let's go into pound CAD, and we're gonna deconstruct it completely. Okay, we're here at the daily now. What's the direction of the daily? Okay, this market, it looks overall in a downtrend. When I take this much data for overall in a downtrend, I'm taking data from July, for God's sake. From July to now. Do I want to trade today based on information from July? No, that's too much data. That's like weekly, boys. That's not for us. Yeah, just think logically. Why do you need so much data, right? So we're in a range. But when I saw this at that moment as, okay, here is the support resistance. We got a higher high. We got the next support resistance here. And we're still in the buyer's territory, right? In this buyer's territory, my job is, okay, I know I have to buy. That's without a doubt. Give me a seller and I'm going to buy it. Let me go down to the 4 hours. Okay. At what point do you think I started to read my seller, the rubber band man? Okay. It is in this area I got in. Okay, let's go through the sequence. The sellers are coming in. They're coming in. I'm going to draw this line here. The sellers are coming in. That's their new support resistance. Okay, they're coming in. That's their support resistance. They're aggressive. They're happy. They think they're making a lot of money. Okay, that's fine. Let them make money. It's their turn. We'll take our turn later. They come down. They come to this area. They're holding. They drop again below. They're aggressive. Okay, let them keep making money. That's fine. We know they're entering our area. Now, we don't know if they're going to go below our line yet. Okay, we have to watch the characteristics of what they're doing. So this is the lowest point here. This is where everyone goes wrong. That's the marker, that lowest point right there. After that, did we make a lower low? Right there where my arrow is now? Is that a lower low? No. How about here? What if I put my arrow here? Is that a lower low? Remember, universe above. Yeah, it looks like a lower low, but it's not. And that lower low gives these guys confidence that it's a sell. It's a sell. Their confidence is my profit. Okay. And for those of you who are going to graduate, it's going to be your profit too, because it's just a matter of how you look at the knowledge. If you look at it in the right way, you're not going to be the 95%. You're going to be the 5%. Do you guys see the shift here? The difference in looking at the universe above and below? Isn't that exhaustion part right here? From here, it goes down and it comes right back up, open and close up here. So once the line was here, okay, everyone see the support resistance right here? The purple line, I moved it back up. Once they go down, they halt for a bit here. That halt, when it happens, they break below it. They make a new low after they break that, correct? Once they make the new low, we're going to mark the low and be like, okay, that's the spot. We're going to mark that marker. That's the lowest point that they created. After that, we're waiting for that lowest point to be broken again. We're not looking for, that's a new support resistance. No, it's not. It's not a true support resistance. The support resistance is here because the marker is down here. Hey, that low was never crossed again and never crossed again and never crossed again. And I hit my buy, experiencing very nominal loss and experiencing everything on the upside as pure profit. Makes sense? Is your entry due to the buy candle? No, I buy when there's sellers, not when there's buyers. Remember that, okay? It's very amateur to buy with buyers. We buy only when there's sellers. Let people have confidence the market is a sell. We're going to come in as a buy. How do we know when a sell is over? Okay, here we go. So when we see this right here coming down, okay, sellers are hot. So here comes a seller. Boom, boom. Okay. From that piece, he pulls back. Boom. How much retracement is that? 20%. What does that tell you about the seller? Is he healthy? Yeah, he's extremely healthy. All right. He's running. He runs again. He runs. Boom. He makes a new record. He beats his previous record by running. And then he rests again, but this time he rests this much. What would you say about his strength now? He's healthy. And then he runs down to here, makes his newest record here, boom. And then how much does he rest after that? This rest until here. How much percentage rest is that? 80%. What's happening to our seller? My God, that champion who was always running and making money for all these sellers, what's happening to him? He's dying out. He's slowing down. He's dying out. Okay, he runs again. What happens to him? Does he beat his own record? No, he doesn't beat his record. What happens next after he doesn't beat his record? How much does he rest? Almost 100%. Okay, he's pretty much at 100%. He does one last run, and this is my favorite part. This gives the sellers confidence. And this only if the red bars are there, I get confused. But it's only a matter of time when the green comes right back in. You're like, okay, I see what happened. Everyone is selling, but we know the sell's over. That last red drop happens. Once the sell is over, we start getting prepared. We do our money management. We get our PIP calculator out, make sure everything is correct in terms of percentage, our risks. We do all that stuff. We prepare, okay? So once this thing happens, I prepare for my longs. This thing now, it has to do with timing. How you time it, you hit the buy. Now timing, we're going to go more into details, like I said, in due time. Yeah, if you just look at candlesticks, most people, when they look at candlesticks, they're looking for something very clean and easy to see. But what happens is if you just simply say, okay, if I tell you guys, look at this area and tell me what direction is the market, what is it trying to do? It's very confusing, right? But when you use this information and try to picture the universe above and below, it's like, oh, it's a clear uptrend. There's no doubt about it. Okay. So this is basically the concept of anticipating, not participating. I want you guys to, all of you guys, put yourself in my seat and think not in terms of trading, think in terms of psychology, okay? What would have happened if I chased it and I bought here? How many times do you think I might have dealt with a heart attack? It's a lot of times, right? This only happens when you participate and you don't anticipate. If you anticipate, you get entries prior to the launch, then whatever happens afterwards doesn't bother you because you're in profit. Even if the profit gets declined by 50%, you're not freaked out because you're in profit, right? So I want to thank you all for attending. Thanks a lot. You guys are the best. Cheers.